Welcome to the We Rise monthly podcast where women's stories take center stage. I'm your host, Dr. J, a mental health therapist, a professor, an author, a radio host, and your reigning Mrs. Unity World USA. Each month, we honor the resilience, brilliance, and beauty of women who have faced life's challenges and chosen to rise anyway. Here, we rejuvenate the spirit, inspire the heart, support the journey, and enlighten the mind. Because when women rise, families rise, communities rise, and the world rises. Thank you for joining me. Let's rise together. Today, we will be speaking with Bushiku, who is the current Miss USA World Universal. Hi, Bushiku.
Hi everyone, how are y'all?
We doing good.
Yes.
I am so glad you are here with us. You got to tell us your story. Right now I'm in Maryland and you are where currently?
I'm actually in Georgia, good old Georgia, the Peach State. As she stated, my name is Boshicu Page, and I'm the reigning Miss USA World Universal. And a little bit about me, or just my background. My heritage stems from Gambia and Ghana. It's a very big part of me. I love my African heritage, the West African region of Africa. It's something that has been instilled in me since I was young, and I have just let it lead me in my life how I deal with people's cultures and differences, as well as just going about my daily life. It's very different in my household where it's a very different culture, and then when I come out, it's all American culture. So I'm very blessed to be able to have those differences, have my little culture inside, and then I go out and I'm able to have the American culture outside as well.
Yeah, you sound similar to me. I tell people I'm first generation American and I say that I'm bicultural. And for me, that means, I was raised in the United States of America. I was born here, but I was raised by a family that's from the Caribbean island, particularly Trinidad and Tobago. So it sounds like there's some similarity in being able to live in both worlds, both cultures.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. It definitely drives me, because I think for me, being Gambian and Ghanaian, but primarily Gambian because that's the family that's mostly here in America. Um, it's just very different, and sometimes it was a little bit difficult as a child because my mom raised me with her values, and her values aren't American. So it would be kind of hard for me when I would go to school and I would see other kids doing other things, and I'm thinking like I could never get away with that.
Hmm.
And it's just like also it's just sometimes the things that my mom would say and how she would teach us languages, I would pick up, and so I would say words a little bit different, and some people
Yes.
would be kind of like, "What?" And I'm just like, this is how you say this word. And they're like, no. And I'm just like, well, this is how my mom taught me, you know? Like, I can't say cornrow for nothing. Like, I have to slow it down. Like, because in Creole, like for Sierra Leone Creole, that's what my family, like, they primarily speak because our tribe is Aku. We say cornrow. And so people, I've always said cornrow, like, and they're like, "What is cornrow?" I'm like, cornrow, like you know what that is, the braid where it goes down, and you plait your hair. And they're just like, "That's not how you say that." And I'm just like, "Well, I've had to learn how to say cornrow, and it just sounds so weird to me to say." So it's like little things like that, where growing up, it's just like it was very difficult in a sense, just being a kid and feeling like this is my culture, but it's also like I'm also American. So it's like I'm
Hmm.
not American enough for the Americans and I'm not African enough for
Hmm.
the Africans. And it's just like my words that I say, some of the words are the same, but they're also different. So it's like I did get a lot of bullying growing up, especially because my first name is different. It's not American, it's South African, actually. Everyone in my family is named after someone. Um, and my aunt is from South Africa, and I love her. She's great, and I'm happy to be her namesake. She's a driven lady, and she is a fighter. So it's just very interesting to know that like I have a lot of fighters in my family, and I have those cultural differences, but like those cultural differences were causing me to be bullied growing up. And so it made
Mm-hmm.
me very resentful, honestly, for the American part of my culture, or the American part of me. I was very resentful and just felt like, well, if I'm not, American enough, like I'm just gonna really invest and dive into this other side of me. And I definitely delved in and I was able to ask questions and learn more about myself and learn more about my heritage. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful that I'm able to have that experience because not a lot of people are able to have that and learn their background. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm very grateful now. But like growing up, it was very difficult. And, I've learned that, now, people have their opinions and that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely can relate to your story 100%. And so, as you talk about diversity, because that's what I'm hearing, you and I met in a space, in a platform that celebrates diversity. And that
Mhm.
space was USA World Pageants. Tell us a little bit about that, how that relates to you, your story, and how that, it sounds to me like it amplified your story as well. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I've actually been competing in pageantry for 6 years, and I started pageantry kind of late. I don't really consider it late. I was like, hey, I want to compete. My friend, my sorority sister, at the time, was like, why don't you come compete for this pageant? And I competed there, and I competed in a couple of other systems, and then I took a break actually, for health reasons, and that was like a really hard like year and a half for me just because I was young and I had a cancer scare and my doctor finally I was able to finally get a proper diagnosis on my female reproductive system and just figure out why I was having so much pain and everything like that. And after taking that year and a half off, I started doing a lot of research and I found USA World Pageants. It like they had a lot of ads, so I was like, let me just see what this is about. And the biggest thing for me was diversity, equity, and inclusion, was the motto. And so I was like, well, I know everyone says diversity, equity, and inclusion, but let me really figure out if it's actually that. So I actually just went ahead and contacted I believe it was Akila via personal message and just asking a couple of questions and just trying to figure out about USA World Pageants. And I was like, yeah, I've been competing. I'm coming back and competing, and I definitely want to see what this is about. And then after talking with Aquila, I was like, okay, well, I feel like I need to pray about this. My faith is very important to me. So I definitely prayed about it. And it just felt good. And so I was like, okay, well, let me keep praying about it just a little bit more, because it feels good, but I want to make sure that it's from him and not just me kind of being like, I want to push out and go into another pageant system. And as I prayed about it, I felt even more good about it. And like a lot of things just started lining up for me for USA World Pageants. And then I went ahead and I put in my application. I got to meet Akila and I asked her a lot of questions because I told her, I said, I'm a very outspoken person. I definitely stand up for what's wrong. And that has got me in trouble. But, sometimes trouble is good trouble. I'm all about
Yes,
good trouble.
yes.
So I was just like, so how do you guys deal with that? Women who are outspoken, who want to correct the wrongs in the world and who just want to push forward and be, good people and good stewards. And she was like, we love women like that. And at first I was like, okay, let's see, because everybody can say something. But USA World Pageants has kept up with that conversation ever since I had that with Aquila. From
Hmm.
meeting Misty and friend Amy and meeting Carly, they have authentically been themselves and they have
Hmm.
pushed every single individual to be themselves. When I'm saying USA World Pageants is about diversity and inclusion and equity, they literally mean that they are about that. Every single woman that comes on that stage has a different background, has a different story, different color. Some of the women, like you would even guess like their cultural background. It's just like I think Lindsay, like I would have never guessed she's a reigning queen, right? She's a reigning queen for international global. She's from Hawaii. I would have never guessed that. But that
Hmm.
is the testament of USA World and how they see women and they bring them in and they make them stronger. I will
Hmm.
say that I have a level of strength and positivity that I was losing. And USA World, and especially like the reigning queens that we're all reigning together, we all have our little group chats.
Hmm.
Um, I feel more empowered, especially because I'm one of the younger queens and seeing all of the more seasoned queens strive and, you know, just just be themselves and just seeing all the work they've been doing in their communities, it makes me want to push forth and do more and just be more. But also when I see them being like, I'm relaxing, I'm going on vacation, I'm like, oh, I should probably do that too.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm,
I'm young, I'm fresh. I should go and, do all the fun things, even if I don't want to, even if my bed is comfortable. So USA
mhm.
World Campus has just been a great blessing, and I will always be a big advocate of this organization.
Excellent. Thank you. I love how you broke that down. You took me through memory lane from the beginning
Yes.
to now. I love that. So you spoke about celebrating women and diversity. So you have a message, you have a platform. What is your message to the people out there?
Yes, so my platform was created a couple years ago. It's called Willpower, which is Women in Leadership. I am just so passionate about this topic just because I have been in leadership training for the last I'm 29, so 10 years, it's been a decade. So I started when I was 18 in college. So I was a part of student leadership trainings. And then from there, after learning the rules, regulations, and whatnot, and everything to basically help students on campus, I actually was a part of the Leadership Advisory Board. I was an inaugural member at the University of West Georgia. And so with this advisory board, we were actually helping students become their best selves and learn about different leadership skills for them. And actually, it was majority women on that leadership advisory board. So that was really great for me. And we had a lot of team building, was really great. And it was a really great opportunity for me to just show what it's been like to be a student leader at a university level. So much so that I actually got an award that was created in my honor.
Mm,
Uh, my senior year, it was crazy. A 21-year-old getting that award and getting it created. And at first I thought I was going to get another award, and then it passed by me, and they're like, I'd been a part of 8 different organizations. I had been a part of Leadership Advisory Board and Student Achievement. And so for me to be able to have that award created in my name was just really, really great. I actually have it over there, which is the Leadership Legacy Award.
wow.
And
Very nice.
it's a great honor, and I do sometimes talk about it and brag on it just a little bit. But from there, I've done leadership within my sorority. I'm a part of Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, where
Uh-huh.
I have been a part of our area board for Georgia. I've been on national committees. I'm actually celebrating 10 years this year, a decade of
Congrats.
sisterhood. It's not easy,
Hmm.
but I signed up for a lifetime commitment. So and I love meeting all the new sisters and just guiding them. And then from there, I just said, I really just want to create a space where I
Mm,
can give resources out. And so Willpower was created, and it's just been a movement where I've been able to celebrate other women leaders, and also instill in the future leaders and just letting them know that, hey,
mhm,
leadership is a process. It's not easy, but however, we need your insight. We need your opinion, we need your opinions. So I've
mhm,
hosted interview programming. One-on-one with people. I've hosted different mentorship, like universally. I've spoken at conferences at university. I've spoken to women in Greek life on a panel. I've done a lot within these 10 years. And
mhm.
actually, I recently, in the last 2 years, became the first African American woman to lead a chapter in the Landfest nonprofit
Wow.
organization.
Wow.
So this is when I made my transition
Huge.
into tech. Yeah, no,
Wow.
at 27,
Mhm,
working with some really big wigs. So for me, it was just very special to become one of the first, and then also have the first board of all women in tech, because the percentage of women in tech, because I made a career change, I work in tech now. Um, it's very small, but we are mighty. And I like to tell women who are interested in like computer science, tech, whatever, you need to do it. You need to speak up,
wow.
because a lot of us don't want to speak up and take on leadership positions. And I work with a lot of men, and
Mhm.
sometimes they want to mansplain, but I know what I'm talking about. So I go in there and I'm just like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna do it. I'm a lead, so I'm very proud of that accomplishment. I've been in this leadership position for 2 years,
Mhm.
and I have a great team behind me. And to be one of the first, I basically run the chapter for Georgia. So the business is basically in my name. So the sector of the business is in my name for the nonprofit. So
Mhm.
um, it has been a whirlwind. It's had its ups and downs, but I wouldn't change it for anything because that representation is needed. And so
Definitely.
that's definitely been added to willpower. And so I've had opportunities to speak to other women in leadership at Georgia State as well. I've done a lot.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, it
things that I
sounds
haven't
like
even
it. I
some things
mean,
I haven't even posted.
it
So
right. No, it sounds like you've earned your title as Miss USA World Universal through the USA World pageants. And so
mhm.
that being said, like how has those systems, I don't know, I guess amplified what you already do, it sounds like.
Yeah, I like to say that people like to listen to a crown and a sash.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
because even
Well, let me
recently,
get my crown. It's right here.
my crown, you can't see it, it's blurry, but it's over there. My crown is big.
Right.
Um,
And let me get my
but
sash.
yes, the people listen, and especially when you come with a lot of conviction. I know that there was a recent instance where I wore my sash to represent USA World. Ooh, yes, girl. Stop. We earned it. We earned it. We worked hard.
Yes.
I was actually at the Capitol, the Georgia State Capitol, for Stand with Survivors Day. So it's for advocating for survivors of domestic violence.
Mhm.
And I wore my sash, and they were like, "What organization do you represent, or what organization are you part of?" I was like, "I'm a part of USA World Pageants," and they're just like, "Of course." And I said, and I talked about the projects that we did, especially the domestic the go bags that we did, and how
Yes.
we were active in the state of Louisiana for domestic violence survivors, and how even we have some queens who are survivors of domestic violence. And for
Mhm.
me, it was very important to promote that advocacy and promote what USA World Pageants is doing, especially with the queens, to support them and push them in what they're doing and what they're advocating in. So legislation is a big part of what I do as well. I actually went to law school, so like I'm just like I gotta go, I gotta advocate. So
Wow. So
yeah,
beautiful, educated, smart, community server, activist, all of that is what I'm hearing. So those
yes.
are the things you've done. What next? What is next on your things to do list?
What next? Oh my gosh. Honestly, my friends tell me I need to be taking breaks. So I
Okay.
am I'm reordering my priorities, and my priority is myself and spending time with family and friends and being there for them. Definitely taking care of myself because health is wealth.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's definitely
mm-hmm,
what's next. Also preparing for World Universal. Our
mm-hmm,
pageant was postponed, but I always say delayed but never denied. So
mm-hmm.
y'all will see us on stage. You'll see me on that stage. So still preparing for that and still
Good.
doing my Willpower Wednesday post. It was just a little bit delayed just because of work and everything like that. But also just wanting to go ahead and just recenter myself and take care of myself, especially because I'm turning 29 soon in June. So it's gonna be my last year in my 20s. So I'm just like a girl has to enjoy. So just
Yes. Oh, congratulations. That's
yeah.
huge. Yes. So I love what you said about mental health. So my platform, my life's journey is mental health awareness. And I always say that your greatest wealth is your mental health. I heard you say something like that. So in all these things that you've done and you need to do, what you spoke about is that you also need to rest,
Mhm.
right? And how what rest looks like for you.
Yep.
So I love it because there's things to do, but we have to rest in
Yes.
between. I like to take my rest. I actually take naps during the day. And I was telling some of my students the other day that I take my cell phone off and all electronic devices off every day, at least an hour.
Mhm.
And so they challenge themselves to do that. And that's a big way that I am able to sustain what I do and also advocate for others as well in terms of rest is concerned. Yeah.
Rest is
So
really.
As we're wrapping up, what last message? What would you like the viewers to know?
Oh my gosh. I think I have to go with a quote from my mom. And this really carried me through my senior year because I almost dropped out for my senior my bachelor's program because I was just so exhausted. Um, my mom and some this quote just takes me through everything. Every day has a night.
Hmm.
And for me, I at the time when I was crying, I was like, what does that even
Hmm.
mean? And she was just like, the day has to end and you always have
Hmm.
tomorrow. And I just thought I sat there after getting off the phone with her and thinking about that and just realizing that the troubles of today can't go into tomorrow. Because the day
Hmm.
always has to end. So
Hmm.
whatever troubles you have, and we're gonna have troubles in life, and troubles know no age,
Hmm.
just know that the day has to end and those troubles will end for that day. And there is always tomorrow to
Wow.
start over. I want
Wow.
to definitely share that. And that's definitely carried me through a lot of things that I've dealt with.
I love that. That's what we're walking away with. Matter of fact, I'm gonna title this Every Day. What was that? I got Every Day is a Night.
Every day has a night.
Every day has a night. I love it. What it reminds me too is that our days can be busy, all kinds of things happening. But when the night comes, it's time to settle down, shut it down, close those eyes, let the brain rest, let those
Mhm.
cells rejuvenate in the brain. And
Yes.
then in the morning, we continue. It also reminds me that we don't get everything done, even on our things to do list, in one day.
Yep.
Sometimes we have to say, okay, I didn't get it done. I'll take care of that tomorrow. I will take
Mhm.
care of that next week. I've learned that the things to do list is never all done. And that's okay. So
Yeah.
as we continue to rise and rise, the first thing in there is rejuvenate. And that is what we are talking about. While we inspire, we support, and we enlighten the world. As Miss Unity World, that is what I stand for. And I love what I just heard. So we are wishing you well, good blessings, and we're looking to see you on that global stage. And we're looking to continue to follow up with Willpower Wednesdays, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, and we're going to continue following you.
Yes. Thank you
All
so much.
right.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.